creator by the name of Zajeff made a video called "Do You Think It's Worth Going Back to Genshin?" And I think this is great because rarely often at times do you get a Genshin cock to weigh in on the game state of Wuthering Waves versus Genshin Impact. And it is nice to understand their perspective, as I would consider this guy part of the Triforce of mint pickers. You got like Envy. Well, it's not really a Triforce anymore. It's like a dodecahedron. Like the biggest mint pickers right now are Envy, Zajeff, Ziox, Doro, Bran. Yeah, those are the big mint pickers, right? So it's nice to know what a true flesh and blood mint picker in real life thinks. I actually am curious. It appears he's talking to a Wuthering Waves player who's considering going back to Genshin if he thinks it's worth it. So I would actually love to know his opinion.
Do you think from Wuthering it's worth to come back to play Genshin? I stopped playing when the plunge buffer came out. It depends on what you want out of your game.
By the way, I would like to say, Zajeff, if you're ever watching my reaction, I think it cleaned up quite nice. Good job. Yeah, I like the haircut. I like the beard cut, man. Good job. You look a lot better than you used to, man.
WuWa and Genshin are similar in a lot of ways.
Sure.
I think the ones that are most important when it comes to like people that want to know if they like one of the games, if they should play the other, is they're both gacha games with much slower power creep than other gachas. Which makes it very viable to play them.
It sounds like he's reading a script on how to say that Wuthering Waves doesn't completely shit on Genshin Impact in every single regard, with like a Hoyo assassin behind his head with a fucking gun saying, read the fucking script! Make it seem like they're the same. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because his brain's a little bit slow here. Trying to figure out how to pull as much bullshit out of his ass. Let's keep going here.
Casually. And I'm somewhat talking on my ass for WuWa here because, like, I'm going off of what I've seen people say. I don't really play it anymore, so I'm not entirely confident.
I wonder if he'll say why he doesn't play it.
So do correct me if I'm wrong. But from what I understand,
I would love to.
And both WuWa and Genshin, if you only play them like 3 or 4 different times a patch, as like you won't feel like you're falling behind in terms of like power. Like if you were able to clear stuff, you're likely still going to be able to clear stuff unless it's like heavily tailored towards a certain unit.
Why does this dude talk like that autistic third grader who goes, have you ever had a dream that I feel like this question really ain't that hard, bro. I feel like bro is thinking way too hard to give a legitimate answer. And that's why I find it so interesting whenever the mint pickers try to weigh in on Wuthering Waves, because I do truly feel that deep down they understand how much better it is at its core, that Wuthering Waves is just the better game by far in all aspects, from developer team to quality of life to getting what the players want. And yeah, I just feel like it's cope. I would love for anybody to get on call with me who think that I'm wrong about that, and I would love to talk about it. Yeah, but I do think like in all aspects, Wuthering Waves is the superior game, and it's not even close. Yeah, Jesus. Also very true. Let's keep going.
But even if you're not able to clear this one, you'll probably be able to clear the next one.
That's fair.
And if you're not able to clear this one, it's just because none of what you have works against it.
I would say that's very true for WuWa. You can use the characters from the beginning of the game to clear the current content, absolutely. However, I think Zajeff is very severely overlooking the fact that Dendro really increased the power creep of the game. And I feel like with the bullet sponge bosses, you do. Now, obviously, Zhang Ling, Fischl, Xingqiu, Bennett, all still really good, but the implementation of Dendro really increased how much damage you need to do. So I don't think a 1.0 player could come back only using 1.0 units and clear all current content. I think they would have to blend in Dendro. I really do. Or at least stronger units. I don't think a 1.0 team can clear the current content right now. I could be wrong. If somebody wants to prove me wrong, feel free to go to Tower Spiral Abyss and beat everything 36 stars using 1.0 units and 1.0 relics. But I just don't think they're able to do that. I know in WuWa you can. which is great.
right? But there's not really much, or the power creep is like really slow, which means that they're games that lend themselves very well to relatively casual gameplay. And that's like probably the best, the biggest advantage for the games is like, if you're someone who likes playing games for the story, if you're someone who likes playing game for exploration, both Genshin and WuWa are going to scratch that itch.
Yeah, but the problem is, the big thing that he's forgetting is he's bringing up exploration. The thing with Genshin Impact is, if you want the prime quality of life exploration, you have to shill up to $300 a character. Wuthering Waves, every single character gets the exact same amount of exploration as every other character. And it is leagues beyond anything that you can do in Genshin Impact. Now, this is not my opinion. This is not me being biased. This is the genuine truth. And it really bothers me how people don't mention that. I mean, I feel like everybody knows, guys, what would you prefer, an Xbox at full price or an Xbox for free? I think we'd all understand which one we'd choose. Obviously, we'd pick the free option. And saying, well, this game has the same thing as Wuthering Waves, you just have to pay $300 to get it. It's just very disingenuous.
You'll be able to log into them a few times a patch, do the story you like, and then log out and not feel like you're completely getting left behind.
The other thing that's really bad about that $300 is the fact that they released that character that enhanced all quality of life with another character, new unit on the exact same patch that were perfect synergy for each other. It was very, very, very predatory, and I feel like more people need to talk about that because it's very scummy how a lot of Genshin CCs are letting the company get away with that.
The next time you log back in. And so then the question just becomes,
Wuthering Heights, I mean,
is that
waves.
you? Is that what you care about? And if it is, then I'd say it probably might be worth picking it back up. Not picking it back up to play it every day, but coming back once or twice a patch to do the story, do the events that you like. It's definitely the healthiest way to play Genshin. Honestly, it's the main reason why if I do end up going back to one of
You know a game's bad when somebody says the healthiest way to play Genshin is to only play 3 days a patch. What happened to games that you can just pick up and play whenever the fuck you want? Like, what type of weird ass take is this, bro? Like, come the fuck on, man.
one of the other gachas, it's probably gonna be WuWa. Cause like, I'm never gonna go back to playing any of them every day. But out of WuWa, Star Rail, and ZZZ, WuWa's the one that's probably gonna be the most fun to like just come back to, play for a few days, and then not play for another 3 patches. Alternatively, it might end up being Star Rail just because Star Rail is a lot more popular.
I feel like bro has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Concerning the fact that WuWa is one of the only games where you can pick up and make meaningful progress on your account every single time that you play it. Right? With the ecosystem not being locked behind, daily resets and energy. Right?
When
Yo.
I used to play the game, I remember I had to use Yellen and Sayui skill just so I wasn't going back and forth running and walking. Wuthering Waves, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing is that Wuthering Waves is also another game that has actual trials that you can limit test your characters on in the forms of holograms that are actually difficult and meaningful content, as well as a TOA reset every, 2 weeks, with new endgame modes coming in, 2 days? Yeah. I feel like Genshin is the game for a casual where as long as they're okay with spending hundreds of dollars to make it feel good, that they should play. But Wuthering Waves is a game that you can play without spending all that money. I would say Wuthering Waves is much more free-to-play friendly.
And people want to yap about Star Rail a lot more.
Echo leveling is definitely gated. No, Echo leveling absolutely is definitely gated, 100%. I never said that it wasn't. What I'm saying is, with Echoes, you can farm them, make sure you get the right main stat, and you can do that infinitely, right? You can do that infinitely. And then, once you find the ones that you want to roll, then you can grind them, right? So, you can still get the arbitrary leveling of getting the right main stat out of the way, which is very nice.
I always have people yapping to me about Star Rail, so it kind of gets me curious. There's a few content creators I follow that are Star Rail content creators. and I watch their stuff sometimes. But that's just peer pressure. It's not because of the actual game. Is Idle Hyperloop still viable, or is it low-key cope? It depends on how you define viable and cope. I'd say that it's both viable and cope. I thought you'd be so addicted on WuWa since there's so many mechanics and things like echo sets and stuff.
What? Tell me the problem with WuWa.
The biggest reason why... I mean, I talk about this every time I talk about WuWa, but the biggest reason why I didn't end up getting that hooked on WuWa is because the devs were making it very clear the ways in which it wanted to be similar to Genshin, and the ways in which it wanted to be similar to Genshin were things about Genshin I don't like. Like a lot of the decisions.
Okay, so let me get this right. You didn't want to play WuWa because it was similar to the aspects of Genshin you don't like, and then you play Genshin. Okay, yeah, this definitely. No, let's hear him out, guys. This definitely makes sense. No, I'll be real, guys. I'll be real. I think every Genshin Impact content creator who does not play Wuthering Waves or will not give Wuthering Waves a shot unless they're sponsored is such a fucking shill. Genuinely. Because the reason why Genshin is having to get better is due to the presence of Wuthering Waves. And if you're not willing to play the competition, you're such a fucking shill. It's insane.
Decisions they made when it came to like changes from CBT2 to live and quote unquote bug fixes that are
The fuck do they mean quote unquote bug fixes?
Which is stuff that was like changed, not because it worked in a way that was different that was described, but because it worked in a way that was different than they intended, right? Which is the sort of stuff that like they can call it a bug fix, and it can be considered a bug fix, but in practice, it's a change in mechanics, right? But like the massive
I wish I could see his chat during this because genuinely, what the fuck is he saying? If his chat is anything other than question mark spamming, I'm shocked.
quick swap nerfs, the attack set nerf.
This is the thing that I really don't enjoy about listening to mint pickers talk about Wuthering Waves. It was kind of that one, it was kind of like the Ziox, Tawano, and Zajeff late night stream from the deleted VOD, where they're all talking about how unhappy they were with Wuthering Waves or how unhappy they were with Genshin Impact. It really sounds like they're just jumping through hoops and loops, not ever giving you their real opinion because it feels like they can't. Is this chat? Okay, I see about here.
Like that made it clear to me that
His chat's actually not calling him out on what he's saying not making sense. Typing ta because they don't get it and typing let's go to whatever it is. This looks like a botted chat, but what the fuck's that even mean?
they were leaning more towards casual friendly gameplay. But the only reason why I was interested in WuWa to begin with was the ways in which it was less casual oriented than Genshin.
Which it still is.
But they realized that being more casual friendly is more profitable. So that's what they went for. Which like
Wait. Okay, so let me get this right. So first of all, Wuthering Waves is leagues beyond more hardcore than Genshin Impact. Try the new holograms if you don't believe me. And second of all, everything that this guy is saying right now, okay? Everything that this guy is saying right now is saying they made all the versions of the things I don't like in Genshin in Wuthering Waves, and then he's saying the game is too casual, so I'm going to play Genshin Impact. What the fuck is this dude even saying? How is no one in this chat responding to this with any amount of coherence? Or can you just clarify what you mean by that?
it's a good decision. Like it's gonna make them more money. It's a smart thing for them to do, but it still makes me a little sad. Who is currently going more casual and more sweaty at the same time. They're making the game easy mechanically, but adding mechanically challenging content. The thing is, like, it's not just in terms of difficulty that I'm talking about, like, casual friendly. It's also in terms of, like, systems. Like, okay, I think that the most promising part of WuWa in terms of what I want out of a game is the ways in which it was, like, pseudo MMO like. Games that have incentives for you to log in every day, to me, are more fun if they also have actual things to do every day
Then why are you playing Genshin?
outside of those incentives. And echo grinding, I think, can be incredibly fun. But the fact that it's gated behind daily resources, to me, makes it significantly less fun.
Then why are you playing Genshin? Every reason why he's saying he's not going to play WuWa is skewed, and it is actually just about Genshin.
And I understand that that's just, like, that's not an inherently bad thing game design-wise. It just means they're aiming at a different audience. But as part of the audience it's not aiming towards...
So let me get this right. So his reason to his audience for why he's not playing Wuthering Waves is because he wanted it to be an MMO, but it's not an MMO, and he doesn't want to play a casual game, so then he's going to play Genshin Impact because that's what's good. Jesus Christ. I need a theory crafter to make sense out of what the fuck he's saying.
It disappoints me. By the way, have they changed co-op yet? Can you play more than one character in co-op yet? Or are you still only one character? Only one character? Yeah. That's another one of the issues. Because WuWa's combat doesn't have as many interactions with enemies as Genshin's does.
How is this the guy that people consider to be the smart guy of Genshin Impact? This is the people parade as the smart guy of Genshin. That's insane.
Sense that not like your outgoing actions don't interact with enemies as much as Genshin does because you don't have enemy aura bullshit to deal with. It means that you don't need as much coordination in co-op gameplay if you want to make the best out of the things that are happening.
Why is this guy reaching? First of all, what the fuck is enemy aura? Second of all, why the fuck is this guy reaching so hard to say the co-op gameplay of Genshin Impact is peak?
Because you don't have to coordinate auras and reactions for stuff like that, right?
Well, if you want elemental interactions, Saj, if they're actually coming to the game in 2.1, so hey man, maybe you should give it a shot. Maybe you should give it a shot, man.
That means that in Genshin, right, if you were allowed to have
This guy is trying so hard to sound smart. I know. Welcome to Genshin Impact content creators.
multiple characters per player in co-op, that would be a problem. Because you now have fucking 12 different characters applying different elements. And it would be impossible to, like, reliably get proper auras and have cohesive teams. Right? But that's not a limitation that WuWa's combat does. So I don't understand why the combat wouldn't allow you to have multiple characters in co-op. Because the combat in WuWa is fun because of the swaps. And so, not being able to swap in WuWa is fucking disappointing. It's sad. What makes Genshin's combat fun is the reactions, and you can still do reactions in co-op if you coordinate it with the other people you're playing with. And so Genshin's combat has the possibility to be fun in co-op, even if you can't swap.
I'm gonna put water on your dendro. Woo! Woo! Wow! Wow! For the guys, the reason why Zajeff can't play WuWa is because for 1% of his gameplay, when he's playing with other people, he can't make the pretty little flower go boom, boom, boom. That's right. Oh, look at that. I mixed the wet color with the watercolor. Woo! Oh man, I'm having fun now, boys. And he can do that every 22 seconds, and then he can auto attack with his sword. So much better in Genshin.
WuWa's combat.
Dude, I bet you guys, if you were to get a Genshin Impact CC, a little watercolor board and let them mix the colors in their little paint bucket, oh man, they'd come. They'd come immediately, bro.
Doesn't have that element of its combat system that is still usable in in co-op. Right? Like, yeah, you can still trigger intros and outros.
Bro is literally saying the reason why he won't play WuWa is because for 1% of the time when he plays co-op, you can't mix cuddles in that game. Jesus Christ.
But it's not just intros and outros that make swaps important. It's the fact that you can animation cancel and be spending time on different characters. That's something that Genshin doesn't have, and so it doesn't get punished as hard for limiting you to one character.
Do you think this guy has a panic attack whenever he uses the Geo element? Because he's like, oh, I can't mix my cuddles anymore. What am I gonna do? Oh my god! Oh no!
When was the last time you had fun in Genshin Impact co-op? I have fun in Genshin co-op every time there's a combat event.
Yeah, man. I bet it's so fun when you and Ziox play together. That way you can share viewership. It's definitely about the combat. Absolutely.
Every time we have a combat event that allows co-op, it's fun to do in co-op.
Wow, so once every 6 months, he has a lot of fun in the co-op combat events. Wow, dude. That's the reason why he can't play WuWa. Because what's he gonna do without his once every 6 month combat co-op event, man?
Honestly, the most fun I've ever had in Genshin is the combat events that allow co-op. I posted a video a few years ago about like the Hypostasis event that I did in co-op with Rin. Who else did I do it with? I don't remember. And that was probably the most fun I've ever had playing Genshin. It was so fucking fun. I really loved it. Rin, PyCon, and someone else, yeah.
It's for video.
Oh, it was GIF.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Wow, good times.
Oh, I didn't post the video. Huh. But Rin
Good
did.
times.
Anyways, this was a fucking...
Yeah, the last time he had fun in Genshin Impact, 2.5 years ago. And now he's just waiting for that 15-minute event to come back. Man, doesn't this just sound so truthful, guys? Isn't this just so believable?
This was so fun to do.
So fun.
I really, 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 really had so much fucking fun with this.
So good.
That kind of shit is really, really fun, right? And Genshin doesn't capitalize on it. They don't give us permanent good co-op content. Which is a fucking problem, don't get me wrong. But...
So, Genshin Impact doesn't give you co-op events. The last time you had fun was 2.5 years ago. But because of that event 2.5 years ago, you can never try WuWa because you can't mix colors. Yeah, guys, does that make sense? Because what's crazy is when you hear these people talk all this shit and you really pay attention to what they're saying, for some reason, none of it makes sense now, does it? Why do you think that is, guys? Why do you think every single time they have to talk about WuWa and why they won't play it, for some reason, it just doesn't make any sense? Why do you think that is?
When it comes to WuWa, I don't think their combat really allows for fun in co-op. Like, I'm not saying you're not allowed to have fun in co-op in WuWa. I'm saying I don't think I could, even if the event was fun.
Guys, I couldn't have fun in WuWa even if it was a fun event. So true. Yeah, you want to know why? Because WuWa won't pay his bills. I wonder how much Genshin Impact Zajev plays offline. I wonder how much he plays, man.
Because the combat in WuWa is so reliant on the swaps. And it's so much less interactive without them. But like that was one of the things I mentioned in my CBT.
Yeah, bro. You have to swap characters while playing in WuWa, but you don't have to in Genshin Impact? Oh, okay. Yeah, nah, guys. All this makes sense. Guys, have we noticed how none of this shit makes sense?
Review video for WuWa. That there's no reason why you shouldn't be allowed to have multiple characters in co-op. And like, I remember there were people being like, yeah, but then it would be too easy. But like, just make the enemies tankier accordingly.
Yeah, man. Just make all the enemies more bullet sponge like. Just like in Genshin. That's what's really good. Isn't that great game design? Oh, if it's not hard enough, well then just give him more HP. Man, this guy should work for Genshin Impact. Man, this guy gets it. Yeah, we want more HP inflation. Man, this guy would love Honkai Star Rail.
If allowing multiple characters means you're going to end up doing like 5 times more damage in co-op, then make the enemies 5 times tankier, and that's fixed.
How do people listen to this guy? How do people pull up this guy's stream and watch this? Holy shit. This is psych. I want to remind you guys that the reason why this guy won't play WuWa, he has spent the past 7.5 minutes explaining, my co-op can't mix colors. I mean, this is the guy saying, oh, well, dude, I can't eat in this restaurant because 8 years ago there was a fly on that table that I'm not eating at. Good Lord. Co-op and WuWa? Yeah, let's see it, man.
We need air support, and we need it now.
Who's closer to kill box 1 Alpha?
Send the Hawk, sir.
Okay, send the Hawk.
Yeah, man, there's no way to have fun in co-op. He can't mix his colors, and all of those colors were purple. Now, if they were purple, green, and blue, then he would be having a blast, but there's not enough pretty colors. There's not enough, man. There's not enough.
Co-op with randoms, though, is miserable. I mean, that's fair. The thing is, the only reason why... Okay, if co-op with random is miserable, that's something that can be fixed by co-oping with non-randoms. The thing is, that's not gonna happen because the co-op isn't fun enough for you to have an incentive to find people to play with. Imagine having friends. You don't need to have friends. Like, if the co-op was good, every fucking Discord would have, like, party-forming channels for co-op. The reason why that's not really a thing is because the co-op isn't fun enough for it to be a thing. The co-oping with random being, like, awful is a byproduct of co-op in general not being good enough for the community to want to address that. Co-op is fun, it's just there's nothing to do. I mean, for Genshin, yeah, it's, like, the systems in co-op can be fun, but...
Man, I wonder if Zajev is having a miserable time playing single-player Genshin Impact right now. Yeah, man, he can only have fun in co-op. Yep, absolutely. This might be one of the dumbest videos I've ever seen in my entire life.
Genshin struggles a lot from the fact that there is very little to do in co-op.
Does co-op even matter? Absolutely no, it doesn't.
I hope that helped you for...
No, that helped nobody. You rambled for 14 minutes. You said a jarbled mess of incoherent garbage that anybody above the 9th grade education system would have called you out on. But your chat is so fucking dumb. They probably just have this shit on mute waiting for Ziox to go live. That way they can go there instead. Holy shit. What the fuck is this dog shit video?
For your question of should you go back to Genshin? At the end of the day, don't force yourself to play a game you don't enjoy, right? Like, it's...
Unless you're getting paid to do so, right, Zajev?
It doesn't matter how good a game is. If you don't enjoy yourself while you're playing it, it's not a good game for you. You don't have a responsibility to enjoy a good game. Nor do you have a responsibility to hate a bad game. Like, personally, I had an awful time playing Elden Ring. I don't think it's a bad game.
Oh my god, he's just bad. He's just actually bad. He actually just has a fucking skill issue. And oh my god. The #1 Genshin Impact theory crafter can't even play Elden Ring. Oh my god. If that doesn't show you how low skill floor it is to theory craft in Genshin Impact, I don't know what will. You can't even make this shit up, bro. I mean, you know why he didn't like Elden Ring, guys? Because he couldn't mix colors in that game either. Truly a shame.
But it's not for me, at all. I fucking hated it. And that's why I stopped playing it. But if you don't enjoy yourself playing Genshin, you don't have to go back, you know? I take a look at my enormous penis, and my troubles start melting away. I take a look at my enormous penis, and I'm going to say, I can't see how this way, my pants, and it feels like such a
Guys, I think he's actually retarded. I apologize. The displeasure watching that video probably caused a lot of people. I am deeply sorry that I had to show you guys that. May God have mercy on his soul. And dear God, that was embarrassing. I do not understand how people watch that guy. He says dumbass shit like that. People take him seriously. This is the same guy who's made false allegations of rape claims, by the way. The same guy. Yeah, Zajeff did that, by the way, if you didn't see that. That was on Twitter. I cannot believe that this is the guy who people revere as the smart guy in Genshin Impact.
Lyrics kinda fight, oh you can't say they aren't.
Yeah, I'd rather kill myself. Sorry that you guys had to watch that, guys. That's insane.